Hey everyone, this is Dawn. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this card using the April stamp of the month called O-Fishally Awesome. So here's the stamp set, and I'm going to be using the embossing folder that is called Under the Sea. And I'm also going to be using the thin cuts for shaker cards, except this won't be a shaker card. I'm just using the circle thin cuts that are in this set. So I have a piece of white daisy cardstock, and I am laying the stitched circle die on the front of that card and centering it, and then I'm drawing I'm tracing the inside circle there. So then I have a circle die that's just a little bit larger than that circle. And so I'm going to thin cut it at that point. And so there will be enough of the circle stitched die to attach to the card front. So I'm going to cut a circle in my card front. I hope that makes sense. And then I'm going to emboss my card front. So I'm running this through my Big Shot. Okay, so now we have an embossed card front. And then I'm using some holographic paper, and this is where that stitched die comes in. So I'm going to run that through my Big Shot and cut that stitched frame. And so it will go on top of that embossed piece of cardstock there. And there's just enough of it to be able to attach. And now I am taking a piece of fun foam and I'm going to die cut that as well. And it needs to be a larger circle than all of the rest so that you can't see it once everything's layered together. So I'm going to take a larger circle and center it and then die cut the craft foam. It's a 2mm. It's pretty thin craft foam, but I just want to be able to pop that embossed piece up off the front of my card. So I'm running that through my die cut, my Big Shot die cutter. And so now I have a large circle to sandwich between the embossed piece and my card front, and then you won't be able to see it. Okay, so now I am going to take the inside circle of the cutout piece from my card front, and I'm going to trace it to another piece of white daisy cardstock. So once everything's layered together, you won't be able to see my tracing lines. I just want a field of what's going to be seen when I start creating my scene for my card front. So I'm going to stamp a variety of fish. I'm just going to kind of create a fishbowl scene. So this is a treasure chest, and it's a new stamp, so I'm seasoning it there. So I'm just going to stamp everything in black ink because I'm going to color everything in. And I'm just kind of building my scene right here. And I'm choosing a variety of fish and aquarium plants. And then I realized that this one seaweed image, it would be stamped over the treasure chest. So I took a piece of masking paper and I placed it over the treasure chest so that I could stamp the seaweed. And my clownfish is a little too big for that little scene there, so I won't be using him today. But there are some smaller fish in this stamp set, so I'm going to stamp those guys down. And I'm just kind of choosing what's going to fit, what's going to work. You can see me building this scene. And then I wanted to put another seaweed there on the right side. I wasn't sure. There's a couple of different images, but I decided to use the same one. And now I've got some little bubbles for the fish. And I decided that one was a little too big, so there's like 5 or 6 different sizes of little bubbles that you can stamp. So I'm going to get those guys down. And I have room for another fish. And then I'll stamp a couple of air bubbles for him. And that's looking pretty good. So now I'm bringing in a piece of craft cardstock and I'm going to stamp my sign that will have my sentiment. So I'm going to stamp a couple of these just in case. Sometimes the craft cardstock gets pretty porous, and so sometimes your image can bleed a little bit, so that's why I'm doing more than one. And I'm going to stamp "Just Keep Swimming," which is, I think, is kind of appropriate for the times right now, with everyone being told to stay at home. We just need to keep swimming, just keep swimming. So now I'm bringing in my tri-blend markers and I'm going to color my scene in. And I have sped this film up super fast, but I'm going to go ahead and keep everything in this video as far as the coloring process. You can just kind of watch me color in. I have no idea if there are fish this color, these kind of fish this color, but I'm just choosing colors that I like. And I'm not doing a ton of blending. I'm just coloring in. Just want to get some color down and brighten up the scene. I'm using the coral marker for that fish and decided it was a little too dark, so I went in. Sometimes when you go in with the light color of the marker and you put it over the top of a dark color, you can lighten it up. So that's kind of what I did with that fish. And then I'm going to color in the seaweed. And then I decided I needed some sand around the treasure chest at the base of my scene there. So I'm stamping some sand. Okay, so now I'm bringing in watercolor pencils. These are the new watercolor pencils from Close to My Heart. And I'm coloring in the water. Realized I forgot one of the fins on the fish, so I went back with the purple. And just coloring in with the pencils around everything. And I wanted some of the pencil lines to be seen to make it look more like water. And Now I'm realizing that I used white daisy cardstock for this instead of watercolor paper, so I brought in an old blending pen. These unfortunately are not available anymore, but I just wanted to soften everything up. My original intention was to use the watercolor brush with water, but on white daisy paper it would make it buckle and it would ruin it. So I brought in my blending brush to just kind of soften the watercolor pencil lines. And then I am fussy cutting the sign, the little wood sign there. And I apologize, I didn't realize I was off camera when I was doing most of that. And then I just brought in a watercolor pencil to kind of do a little shading around the edges there. Okay, let's build our card. I've got a piece of bluebird and I have cut that as an A2 size and scored it down the middle for my card base. And then I'm going to attach my art piece directly to that using Tombow tape. And then I'm bringing in my piece of craft foam with my embossed card front. I started to use the Tombow, but then I realized I needed to use a wet glue around those narrow sides there. So I'm bringing in the Tombow white glue. And I'm going to sandwich this piece of craft foam between the embossed card front and my art piece there. So I've got some more Tombow. I'm going to put that down and layer everything together. Okay. And then my piece of holographic paper, I'm going to attach that with the Tombow aqua glue. And I'm going to layer that as a border around my scene there. And I'm just sticking that larger block on there to kind of let it set up. And then I'm using some thin foam tape for my little sign, my sentiment. And I'm going to add that to my card front there. So the stamp of the month is available during the month of April. And with a $50 purchase, you can purchase this stamp set for $5. And if you just go to my website, the URL is up in the upper right corner. You can make your purchase online and it'll be shipped directly to you. I'll make a list of supplies and links in the description below. I appreciate you spending some time watching my video today. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. And thanks for watching.